All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City of Cedar Falls City Council meeting for Monday, March 16th. I will call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Schultz. Latta.
Here.
Nagel.
Here.
Lawbaker. Fairbanks.
Here.
Chrisman. Here. Dunn. Here. Councilmembers Schultz and Hallbaker absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And that takes us, if everyone was willing and able, could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. I'll look for a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of March 2nd.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion from council? Seeing none. Any from the public? Also seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk, any agenda revisions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Items 19 and 20 on the agenda need to be reversed. Those are on the resolution calendar. And items 24, 25, 26, and 27 are being removed.
Thank you. And just for some context, 19 and 20 depending on each other, and it was just for the order of operations. We're reversing those. And 24 through 27 were for one of the developments, but they're still figuring out a few details to wrap up, so we're going to hold off on those for now. Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. And that will take us to public forums. Speakers will have one opportunity to speak for up to 5 minutes on topics relevant to city business. If there is an item on the agenda later this evening, we will have comment on that as well, so please hold for that item. Otherwise, any other business for tonight? Just name and address, please.
Good evening. Kim Jordan, Cedar Falls, 2018 Minnetonka Drive. So in the past, I've been in and I discussed quite frequently about Sartori Hospital. And maybe years ago, it was unclear as to why maybe the big push. What drives you? What keeps thinking that this is a missed opportunity for our communities? One is the loss of Schoitz Hospital, which was beds, and it was dollars into the community for long-term care and the abilities for neighborhoods to have people our age at the end of the day go and see their parents and be close to home, and a large, really nice section of town. Preventable loss, yes. Cedar Falls, Sartori, also a brother to Waterloo. I see those two men kind of visually in my head, and I'm just imagining how could they even imagine in our walk that we would be thinking that what their hard work isn't of value for us. The biggest secret that kind of keeps me going is the fact that talking with many people on this and gathering the information is Cedar Falls has been kept in the dark. We were not told as a community where we would have a voice to ask and say, yes, we would want this healthcare system to come in, or no, we would not want this one. Mayo Clinic was our choice, our second choice. It should have been the only number one choice within this whole community. And I know that from former Iowa House representatives who are retired and some other people that were in this system. So we had a small group of people making a choice for the community. Big picture, think now, 25, 27 years later, the presence of Mayo Clinic in the state of Iowa, a preventable loss to our community. If we would have been able to stand up and say, let's go forward, let's choose these people, let's get them in here, our malls would be thriving, our schools would be held accountable. If we had a nonprofit, there would be a better driveway, there would be better ADA doors, there would be renovations. I've been up to Decorah, it's phenomenal. I just came back this last weekend from Rochester myself, walked to the Methodist campus. It's not much of a walk, just like between Sartori, 515 College Street and the college. The college is our driving force too. We are lacking vision. We are lacking leadership, and I don't know how to get past this whole frustration, but it's it's got to end at some point where we all come together with Waterloo and ourself in Cedar Falls and say, look, this healthcare system has a choice. It can take the certificate of need that is sitting right at 515 College Street and have the CEO of the healthcare, Mercy Trinity, apply for a brand new one within the state of Iowa. They do not need to take this transfer and move it over to Green Hill Road. Green Hill Road disturbs me secondary. It sits right now with the deed and the title over at 9th Street. How in the world do we say Sartori Memorial Hospital, Green Hill Road, 50 acres, deed and title over at Waterloo Covenant Hospital? Unbelievable. That man that built the Methodist Church, the Cotton Theater, the Regent Theater, the hospital, left monies for us to say we are going to have a perpetual care and think futuristically for medical needs. We have, number 2 in the nation, cancer outbreaks in Iowa. We have a facility. That certificate needs to stay open to that area without the removal so that we can actually see if we can get a roundabout, which I absolutely despise, with Mayo Clinic up at that location and help funnel and get some action and some positivity stirring up in our communities. I would also like to find out from the mayor how we go about finding how much money is in that Sartori Foundation board that is now called the Cedar Falls Health Trust. It would be nice to get clarification if we can have that certification process paused and resubmitted, because it does have to be turned in ahead of time. It would also be nice to know about the title and the deed and how we change that around. And a follow-up note, how much the removal expenses are on the First Street roundabout that we have on First and Union Road. I have $420,000
Jordan, that is
for
time.
purchase. We need that number because it's adding to the tax base of our community and our taxpayers, because we're having to front load the budget on the removal of a hot and heavy electrical grid right out there on Union Road. And all we need to do is put a light system up. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Follow up with you on the amount of money in the health trust fund. We can get that information. And just the certification of hospitals, that really is nothing the city has anything to do with. And I would direct you to the state to have discussions with them if you have some concerns with the certification process. And I'm not sure about, I'll talk with staff about the roundabout piece. I'm not sure on some of the details there. But one sec here.
Yeah,
Jen, you had something?
well, first of all, I was going to tell you, yes, Gil was trying to get on, but is that maybe
That's what I heard from the
Gil right
jumped
there?
on.
But no, I was just going to mention that the health trust balance is right. You know, we were just talking about the big budget books that people will have, but online is last year's, it's on page 6-15 would be right there. We'll show you the approximate 16 million we have in that fund. But again, that's the health trust, not anything to do with the Sartori Foundation.
Thank you, Director. Yeah. All right, anyone else for public comment this evening? All right, seeing none, we will close public comment, and that moves us to staff updates. And I believe, Director Sheets, we got.
Yeah, I wanted to share with the council an exciting new program that's happening at the rec. This is the first time that the rec is offering a program that's formally for adaptive play. We partnered with, we have a curriculum through a program called Can Play that Shields is sponsoring this year so that we can cover that curriculum cost and be able to use that to offer some classes. So we're starting off with adaptive soccer for youth with disabilities, autism, or chronic health conditions. Youth age 6 to 12 can sign up for this 4-week program and look for more in the next year here.
Thank you, Director, and thank you to the team for working on that, getting the grant to be able to fund some of that programming. It's nice to see that. And otherwise, I just have a quick update, more for the public. We know we're working in the city administrator process. Kind of mentioned the last meeting, but just wanted to confirm we will have our finalist candidates, which we'll be working on selecting later tonight, at the March 26th or on March 26th. They'll be here for the 26th and 27th for a 2-day interview. So 6 to 7:30 on the 26th that evening. Will be an open public forum, kind of a meet and greet for residents who would like to come and get a chance to meet the candidates, ask them questions. And it's a good chance for us as well up here to be able to see how they do interacting with the public, answering questions for people. And we're still nailing down the location for that. But if you'd like to know, feel free to get us your contact information card or something. But otherwise, we'll have that out for public information as soon as we nail down the location. Otherwise, move to special order of business. Item number 2, a public hearing on the proposed plan, specifications, and estimate of cost for the West 22nd Street reconstruction from Campus Street to College Hill project. Do a motion to receive and file.
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. And all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Gil. That motion carries. Moves us to, and just for anyone that's here from the public, Councilor Schultz did log on online. So he is now with us in the room. Okay, so Madam Clerk, any written communications?
I have no written communications, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And then for staff comments, we've got Dr. Ben Claypool. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Tonight's public hearing is on the West 22nd Street reconstruction project. The roadway improvements include reconstruction of West 22nd Street from Campus Street to College Street by widening the roadway section from 26 foot to 29 foot wide, or including that widening. The new pavement will be 7-inch thick concrete and will also include water main replacement, sanitary sewer manhole replacements, subdrain and storm sewer intakes and manholes, and paint and pavement markings. In addition, a sidewalk infill will be made on the east side of Campus Street from West 22nd Street up to West 20th Street to complete the missing segments of the sidewalk as it sits now. The total estimated cost for the construction of this project is approximately $1,775,000, and the project will be funded by local sales tax and the College Hill TIF. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Any clarifying questions for Ben at this time? All right, seeing none, we will then move to public comments. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this item this evening? Just name for the record, please.
Kim Jordan. So this goes in conjunction with the Regents just meeting last week and approving the Campbell Hall demolition and needing to kind of update probably some of the road infrastructure near and around that, I'm assuming, because it's all kind of within a very small window of time, and it just seems like it's all, those puzzle pieces kind of fit together. Infill. We take a building down, we've got a structure, we've got
Ms. Jordan,
roads
this
that come
project
out.
has nothing to do with that building or the
Right.
demolition. Timing-wise, it may fall similar, but our project has nothing to do with the
If we
demolition.
take out the road and we have to pack it down in, we've got to bring in more infill and widen that. And we've got to do the updates with the sewer and the water sanitary. It's all adding to the expense to the tax base. It is coming back to the city through the TIFs, which is great. But here again, where's the priorities of, that's a small little avenue of road construction. There's, when we had Price Lab, that road was heavily trafficked. Right now, as you look at it, we have a pickleball court down there. Not a whole lot of activity that goes back and forth. It's major road construction, and it just, that's going to be later on here too with more of our road projects. Just wondering why it wasn't linked into that if it was part of our 26 budgetary things. It seems a little odd. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan. And this project has been one that, again, we review our roads every year. We look at priorities around which roads are we working on, which years. We have a limited budget, so we only work on so many so often. This is one that's been in planning for quite a while in partnership with the university for funding, as well as this is a project that's being done between the two.
That is correct.
So this is one that's kind of been in a queue for a while of getting work done. So any other public comments on this item this evening? All right, seeing none, we will close the public hearing and look for a motion on a resolution approving and adopting the plans, specifications, and estimate of costs for the West 22nd Street reconstruction from Campus Street to College Hill project.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and seconded, and any discussion from council? Seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Takes us to item number 3, public hearing on the proposed plan, specifications, and estimate of cost for the 2026 street restoration project. Do we have a motion to receive and file?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk, any written communications?
I have no written communications, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And then again for staff comments, we've got Dr. Ben Claypool. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
We'll see a lot of Ben tonight.
I'm back. This public hearing is on the 26th restoration, or street restoration project. The project involves the construction of portions of 7 city streets totaling about 1.25 miles with some sidewalk reconstruction. Work will include 1,930 tons of asphalt placement, replacement of pedestrian ramps, modifications to existing storm sewer structures, manhole adjustments, grading, sod, seeding, and pavement striping. Specifically, the streets being restored include 18th Street from Hudson Road to the west, about 750 foot, Autumn Ridge Road from Autumn Lane to Union Road, Brandywine Boulevard and Walmart Drive, that's the section along the frontage of the Walmart site, Lincoln Street from the east city limits to the west, 2,500 foot, Pleasant Drive from McLean Drive to Round Street, and Wynwood Drive from Fieldstone Boulevard to the dead-end cul-de-sac. The total estimated cost for the construction of this project is approximately $900,000, and the project will be funded by local option sales tax, street construction fund, sanitary sewer rental fund, and general obligation bond. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Any clarifying questions for Ben at this time? And I'll just include for the public's benefit, this is every year goal setting we do review. We've got a timeline out about probably 7 years. Can't remember how many years we go out of our road priorities. And then every year at goal setting, we kind of reprioritize depending on what came up in the year, what roads have degraded. And so these are kind of that next step of bringing forward what was approved at goal setting for the roads we're working on within this year's budget. So if no further questions from council, we'll move to any public comment on this item this evening. Just name, please.
Kim Jordan. In the past, we've narrowed, I call them road diets, and I think I've heard many people say that, where it's unclear if we bid them out at the current width that they are removed at, and yet as they go back in, they're narrower. And sometimes we've applied for grants where there's bike lanes that can go in conjunction with them. The dressing of the length and the width is kind of a big deal because we want to make sure that we're maintaining the same footprint, and if there is infill that's needing to be done, or if there is replacement valves for sewer and so forth, we're not having to shift them one way or the other and have tires go constantly over those manhole covers. So it
Ms.
is
Jordan,
a big
just so
deal.
you know for this
Yeah.
one, because I know we've got 2 items that are a little different but similar. This one is just the restoration, so these are only kind of asphalt overlays, not reconstruction of the whole road. So
And-
these would primarily just be doing new asphalt or mill and overlay and then some sidewalk work, but we won't be doing any infrastructure work, I believe,
Okay.
these ones.
There is such a thing as black ice as well. So when we look at those road construction projects or renovations, restoration, Walmart is a relatively new area. 5 to 7 years, wow, really. And then we're gonna put blacktop over it. With a little bit of snow and scuff, they're a very slick spot. So that's something to be mindful too.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Anyone else for public comment this evening? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and look for a motion. Go to my next page. Resolution approving and adopting plan specifications and estimate of cost for the 2026 street restoration project.
Moved. Second.
Motion seconded, and any discussion from council? All right, seeing none, requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Takes us to item number 4, public hearing on the proposed plan, specifications, and estimate of cost for the 2026 street construction project. A motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk, any written communications?
I have no written communications, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And then again for staff comments, Dr. Ben Claypool. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you. This public hearing is on the 2026 street construction project. This project involves the construction of portions of 2 city streets totaling 0.31 miles, sidewalk ADA ramp reconstruction, storm sewer and water main reconstruction. Work will include 7,650 square yards of pavement removal and replacement of pedestrian ramps, modifications to existing storm sewer intakes, manhole replacements, grading, sodding, and pavement striping. Specifically, the streets being reconstructed include the following. West 12th Street from Tremont Street to Washington Street. Those are both of the construction limits to the west and the east for that portion of 12th Street. And then Eric Road from Hudson Road to the west 400 foot. The total estimated cost for the construction of this project is approximately $1,945,000, and the project will be funded by local option sales tax, street construction fund, sanitary sewer rental fund, CFU, and the general obligation bond. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. And again, some added context for this. 12th Street is one I'm excited about, so this will be a significant improvement. I know a couple council members in that area, and not only is it kind of the road reconstruction, we'll be adding some things to include with road diet, natural features, bump outs at some of the intersections to improve pedestrian access across that street. I know a couple of years ago, I think when several of us got elected, just before that, there was a lot of conversation about safety of some of those intersections. So it should hopefully slow people down in that corridor. It's the one that has a parking lane all the way down, so people kind of cruise down that hill. So hopefully help with speeding and also then some of that pedestrian access in that area. So, and Eric Road is one I know we hear about a lot as well. So, but any other clarifying questions for council for Ben at this time?
Mayor?
Yep, go ahead.
So, Ben, is the construction going to go through Tremont and through Washington intersections or to them?
Yes, it will go through the Tremont intersection to the west a little bit further, tying into the cross slope from the existing construction project and just getting all the storm sewer to jive the way that it needs to for drainage a little bit more to the west, but predominantly starting at that Tremont intersection.
So Tremont will be closed for the duration of the entire construction? Or
the current plan for Tremont would be closed for more or less the second half of the construction season with phase 2 of this year's work.
And what about Washington? Was that one already?
That would be, that intersection and the block to the west of that would be predominantly phase 1 of this project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other clarifying questions for Ben at this time? All right, seeing none, we'll move to public comments. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak this evening? Just name again for the record, please.
Kim Jordan. Raise of hands, how many people have their CDL license?
And Ms. Jordan, just please present to the group.
Okay. Could the city council look at reevaluating those bump outs, the curbs, things that are going to be a pedestrian area for people to be standing? We have city street equipment that as they do snow plows, the blades are hitting those. They're a potential hazard. I don't see any of us taking our time off to go and help shovel around those or do a mowing of little string trimming around those little landscaped areas. They may look pretty on paper, but function is more important than pretty little drawings. Keeping the footprint, making a safe crossing between the 12th Street, which now with a roundabout there that we went $10 million over budget on, we have constant flow. A constant flow. It was $10 million over budget for both 18th and 12th. But it is hard to pass across to get to Lincoln Elementary. And if we put those little pedestrian things in the middle, now we're going to be creating an attractive nuisance that's going to be hard to try and figure out how to get across, or potentially a blade. Heaven forbid, like with Eric Road, we only have one way in with a fire truck or ambulance services. It's tough enough getting to the Best Street or Elementary with buses and the northwest winds that close those roads, because they are very narrow and we haven't been putting windbreaks in. Those are some concerns that may not ever hit the table discussions that are going around there, but sometimes I think it's those kind of questions are more intellectual than looking at a rendering of a drawing and thinking how pretty that is. Thank you.
Thank you. And a couple things. One, staff does not make decisions based on how pretty something is. It's a consideration. Obviously, we want things to look good. But a misunderstanding, I think these would not be in the middle of the street. These will be on the side of the road, a bump out that then shortens the distance. Someone will have to cross to the other side. So again, that might have been a misunderstanding. They won't be in the middle of the roads. They'll be kind of built off the side of the road, and it'll help make sure that that main pathway through is a straight area, but it shortens the distance between the two sides for that section. So I'll move on. Thank you.
Is it addressing parking?
Parking will still be there, yes, like it is now. So any other public comment for this evening? All right, seeing none, I'll bring it back to, we'll close public hearing. I'd like for a motion resolution approving and adopting the plans, specifications, and estimate of costs for the 2026 street construction project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, and any discussion from council?
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to say thank you to staff and also to the rest of council. I mean, we have talked about this a lot. I think a priority for us is really to help people be able to walk in our community more often, ride their bikes. You know, we really encourage people to get outside here in our community, and this type of road construction does help encourage people to do that. I think it will feel much safer. Hopefully it will literally slow cars down, and we are definitely going to be looking at that so that we can kind of have some evidence and we can look at how we're constructing roads moving forward. And I think that's a really exciting thing for our growing neighborhoods and even our neighborhoods that have been around for a really long time, like this one. So appreciate staff and the time everyone's put into this. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
I appreciate putting in these bump outs. They're a safety feature, and I wish I had them on my street, but they do slow traffic, and between that and parking, and it's a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other discussion, thoughts from council?
Mr. Mayor,
Yep. Go ahead, Counselor.
I was wondering, I don't see on the camera, apparently my computer's decided that I have a face for radio. So,
Yeah, it was the computer that decided that, Counselor.
apparently, yeah. So I had to exchange some emails with Mr. Schragi. I was just wondering if he had a comment about any communications with businesses on 12.
Not to my knowledge, but if you would like Mr. Claypool to run through some of your concerns regarding the parking width in front of a business there, he can do so.
Yeah. We're talking about what we can do in front of Bancroft. That's the place where a lot of people get in and out of their cars on 12.
And I'll let Ben explain it in a little more detail, but we did cover it a little bit in goal setting, but Ben will go over the details on that.
Yeah, so for clarification with these bump outs, the same parking lane exists along the southerly side of 12th Street along this corridor. For the 4 full blocks of reconstruction that it is, the parking lane is set out as a 10-foot parking lane, and we've included the parking lane striping as well. So when you're driving down the corridor, there will be the center line, although it's not in the actual center of the roadway, but the 2 even lanes and then the 10-foot parking lane on the south side. Taking into even more consideration for Tremont, or Tremont to Franklin, predominantly the half block where Bancroft Flowers is, We've set in the plans that that paint stripe be even an additional foot. So when you're looking at the parking lane, it's striped as an 11, making the travel lane feel even a little more narrow. And then you couple it with, in comparison to today's traffic pattern, where it's such an open concept and when cars aren't parked there, or maybe one car's parked there, the vehicles are going to be a lot more southerly than they will be with these bump outs and the more clear pavement jointing and pavement striping of the reconstruction. So we confidently feel that the traffic will be adequately shifted more northerly, giving a comfortable parking area for the business and down the rest of the corridor as well.
Thank you, Ben. Does that
Okay,
get it
thank you,
for you,
Ben.
Counselor?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Any other questions, comments from council?
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
I just appreciate staff looking at Eric Road and Hudson as well. We've, over the last 15 years, made some improvements in that intersection by adding the stoplight, which is great. But truly, as you turn west off of Hudson Road, the intersection into that neighborhood, it's very tight. There's the curve through there. It's pretty precarious, especially with a lot of younger families in that neighborhood with new drivers. You're kind of taking it into your life into your own hands sometimes in that intersection. So I'm glad to see we're looking at some improvements with that, and I think that's an excellent choice. So appreciate the feedback or staff taking the feedback from council on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion from council? Tom, you want to say anything just to get in there?
I'm good.
All right.
Thanks.
Tom's good for the record. All right, otherwise seeing none requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Takes us to item number 5, passed old business, passed ordinance number 3140, amending Chapter 5, alcoholic and malt beverages of the Code of Ordinances relative to possession or consumption in public place, public intoxication upon its third and final consideration. Motion to approve.
Moved.
Second.
Motion and second, and any discussion from council? Seeing none, any from the public? All right. Also seeing none requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. That'll take us to the consent calendar. The following items will be acted upon by a voice vote on a single motion without separate discussion unless someone from the public or council requests that it be considered separately. Are there any requests for consideration from council? And seeing none, any from the public? Right now, we're just on the consent calendar, so just the items 6 through 10, and then we'll come to the resolution after. So any for the consent calendar? All right, seeing none, then I'll look for a motion to approve items 6 through 10 of the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. That takes us to the resolution calendar, and the following items will be acted upon by a roll call vote on a single motion without separate discussion unless council or public requests otherwise. Are there any requests from council? Quick reminders from the changes at the beginning. 19 and 20 items are switched. And if we'd like to consider those, we can kind of pull all those items as a group. And then otherwise, items 24 through 27 have already been removed from the agenda for tonight.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Number 13, please.
13. All right, any others from council? All right, seeing none, any from the public? And those have already been removed from the agenda. There's still more information the developer's working on, so we'll bring it back at a future meeting. But any others from the public? All right, seeing none, I'll look for a motion to approve items 11 through 29, excluding item 13 of the resolution calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded and requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Takes us to item 13. I look for a motion on resolution approving and accepting a donation of the sculpture, The Binding, from the Cedar Falls Women's Club.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, and Counselor.
I just wanted to say thank you to the Cedar Falls Women's Club for donating this art piece. So this was given to them or bought from them, they bought this item for the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment. And they have sold their buildings, so they no longer have a clubhouse. So they chose to donate this art piece to the city, and it's going to be located somewhere on the Hearst grounds. I think probably in the back in the sculpture garden. So I think it'll be a really nice addition. And I just wanted to thank them and the staff at the Hearst for taking the time to find a new home for this piece.
Thank you, Counselor. Is there any other discussion, thoughts from council? All right, seeing none, any from the public? All right, also seeing none requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. That takes us to bills and claims. We have a motion to allow bills and claims for March 16th, 2026.
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded. Any discussion from council? And seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Any council updates or announcements? Nothing. All right, nothing there. Any council referrals? Any pressing? We didn't have any submitted in writing. And otherwise, seeing none, we will go to item executive session. So item 31, executive session to evaluate the professional competency of individuals whose appointment or hiring is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to the individual's reputation, and the individuals have requested a closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.5. Motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded. I will quick add here just for the public so they kind of know this process here. We'll be going to executive session for discussion. We will be coming back after that. Typically, we have no further business. In this case, we will be coming back for one final item to move forward our recommendations for the up to five finalist candidates. Well, actually, however many you guys as a group decide. Finalist candidates for the city administrator position. Right now, if you look at the agenda or the packet, those things are listed blank. So once we make that decision through a conversation, we will come back and we will have those items there written for public to view, but also for final approval to move forward with. So with that, any council discussion or questions? Or Kevin, you want to?
I'd just add, Mr. Mayor, that council understands that by moving into closed session, they have agreed to the request from the candidates to conduct this in closed session. I want to make sure everybody understands that.
Thank you, Attorney Rogers. Seeing none from council, any discussion from the public? All right, also seeing none, we'll look for a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So we will now move to executive session. Again, for the public, we will come back after this for one final item. So you are welcome to stay around if you would like. I can't promise how long or short that may be. And but we'll be back after that item for one final item. Otherwise, thank you everyone for coming and have a great night.
Hey, Danny.
All right, can you hear us, Gil?
Again.
Perfect. Look at that. We're making it work. All right, so we will, Kevin, do I need to call the meeting back to order here? All right, so I'll call the meeting back to order. So we're back to the regular city council meeting. So we have one agenda item left for item 32 on a resolution approving and accepting candidates to proceed in the selection process for the position of city administrator. Madam Clerk, do you want to read off the names quick for the record before we motion and move forward?
Sure. Joshua Bolt, Craig Clark, Jordan Cook, Stephen Lindner, Philip Rath.
All right, thank you. So we got those 5 names, and so for that, I'll look for a motion to approve, move forward.
Second.
Motion seconded and open for any discussion. And again, just for the public watching or anyone looking, we just had gone to executive session to bring forward these candidates. They will be coming to town then based on this recommendation for a 2-day interview process here on March 26th and 27th. Yeah, with that, look for any further questions or comments from council.
No, Mr. Mayor, just all good candidates.
So.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And then also any comments from the public this evening? And seeing none, bring that back for a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That motion carries. Well, we got nothing else on the agenda, so I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.